Let me ask you something real for a second. If someone told you 10 years ago that you'd be making $120,000 a year in America, what would you picture? Probably a clean apartment in a good neighborhood, a nice car in the parking lot, weekends out with friends, maybe stacking some serious savings, maybe even planning to buy a house. For a lot of people, $120,000 used to sound like the finish line, like you made it, like you finally escaped the average paycheck-to-paycheck grind. But here's the weird part about living in America in 2026. A lot of guys making $120,000 don't feel rich at all. In fact, many of them still feel middle class, sometimes even financially tight. And that sounds crazy at first, right? Because $120,000 is supposed to be a strong salary. It's well above the national average. So how can someone making six figures still feel like they're just getting by? Is it bad money management? Is it lifestyle inflation? Or did the cost of living in America quietly explode while salaries didn't keep up? Because when you really break down the numbers, the story behind $120,000 in 2026 America is a lot different than what people imagine. And if you're a guy in your 20s or 30s trying to build a solid life right now, understanding this reality might actually change how you think about money. So let's break this down honestly, without the social media fantasy. First thing we need to talk about is taxes. Because the moment someone says they make $120,000 a year, most people picture that full number hitting their bank account. That's not how it works in the United States. Between federal income tax, Social Security, Medicare, and depending on where you live, state taxes as well, that $120,000 gets cut down pretty fast. In many states, someone earning $120,000 might actually take home somewhere around $82,000 to $90,000 after taxes. That means the monthly take-home pay could land somewhere around $6,800 to maybe $7,500 depending on deductions and location. Now that still sounds solid, right? And compared to many incomes, it is. But here's where the reality of modern American living starts kicking in. Let's start with housing, because housing is the biggest expense for most people in the United States. If you live in cities like Austin, Denver, Miami, Phoenix, Seattle, or even parts of Dallas and Atlanta, rent prices have climbed fast over the last few years. A basic one-bedroom apartment in a decent area can easily cost between $2,000 and $2,800 a month. And that's not luxury penthouse living. That's just a safe neighborhood. Modern building, maybe a gym downstairs if you're lucky. The moment you sign that lease, a huge chunk of that $7,000 monthly income disappears. Now add utilities like electricity, water, internet, and your phone bill. Suddenly, housing alone can push your monthly spending to around $2,500 to $3,200. And we haven't even left the house yet. Next comes transportation. In America, unless you live in a few specific cities, you probably need a car. And cars in 2026 are not cheap. The average car payment in the U.S. is now well over $700 a month. Add insurance, which could be $150 to $300, depending on your age and city, and then add gas, which can easily run another $150 to $250, depending on your commute. Now, transportation alone could be costing around $1,000 every month. Just housing and transportation together can already push your monthly expenses close to $4,000, and that's before food even enters the picture. Groceries in the U.S. have also gone through serious inflation. A single guy who wants to eat reasonably healthy, cook at home, buy decent groceries, maybe some protein, fruits, vegetables, basic essentials, can easily spend $450 to $650 a month. And if you're eating out even a couple times a week, that number climbs quickly. Now we're getting close to $4,700 to $5,000 a month just to cover housing, transportation, and food. But real life doesn't stop there. Health insurance is another big one in America. Even with employer coverage, many workers still pay a few $100s per month in premiums. Add a gym membership, streaming subscriptions, occasional travel, helping family, maybe dating, maybe buying clothes, maybe student loan payments if you have them, and suddenly that $120,000 salary starts feeling normal. Not broke, but not rich either. That's the part that surprises a lot of people. Because psychologically, six figures used to represent wealth, but in 2026, six figures often represents stability, not luxury. And for men between 20 and 40 trying to build a future, stability is good, but it's not the same as financial freedom. The real pressure shows up when people start thinking about bigger goals like buying a home. In many parts of America, average home prices still sit between $400,000 and $600,000. Mortgage rates are nowhere near the ultra-low levels people saw years ago. That means monthly mortgage payments can easily reach $2,800 to $3,800 depending on the house and location. On a $120,000 salary, that's possible, but it's not effortless. It usually requires careful budgeting or a dual-income household. And that's exactly why so many people earning six figures still describe themselves as middle class. They're doing well, but they're not swimming in money. They're comfortable, but they're not financially unstoppable. And another factor making this feel even more intense is social media. Scroll through Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, and you'll constantly see people showing luxury apartments, sports cars, expensive vacations, and side hustles claiming to make insane money. That creates the illusion that everyone is rich. So when someone earning $120,000 compares their real life to those highlight reels, it can feel like they're behind. But the truth is much simpler. $120,000 in 2026 America is a strong income. But the cost of modern life has risen so much that it doesn't automatically create wealth. Real wealth usually comes from something different entirely. It comes from assets, investments, ownership. People who feel financially ahead at $120,000 are usually the ones who invest consistently, avoid unnecessary debt, keep their lifestyle under control, and build income streams beyond just their paycheck. Because relying on salary alone, even a good one, can feel limiting in a high-cost economy. So the big takeaway here isn't that $120,000 is bad money. It's actually a great income compared to many salaries. The real point is that the definition of rich in America has shifted. What used to feel like upper class now often sits right in the middle of the financial ladder. And once you understand that shift, your strategy changes. Instead of chasing a salary number and expecting it to solve everything, you start thinking about leverage, investments, skills, and ways to grow beyond a single paycheck. That mindset is what separates people who stay stuck in the middle from people who eventually build real financial power. If you're watching this and you're somewhere in that 20 to 40 age range trying to figure out money in modern America, remember this: income matters, but how you manage and multiply that income matters even more. And if this video gave you a clearer picture of what six figures really looks like in 2026 America, hit the like button so more people can see the reality, subscribe to the channel for more straight-up breakdowns about money and life in the US, and drop a comment telling me what salary actually feels comfortable where you live in America right now. Your answer might surprise a lot of people.